Welcome to the NAV Viking tutorials. I'm Johannes Gudmundsson, founder of Anecta, a Microsoft Dynamics NAV Gold certified partner. We keep going on account schedules, and today I wanted to move into budgets, how we can actually incorporate budgets into account schedules. Of course, creating financial statements is great. You see the balance and even balance by periods. But we always want to have goals. Budgets is something that we need to set up when we're setting goals. And so I'm going to just go in here and take a look at what I just did. If I go into this coffee mug income statement right here, this is an income statement that I created by pulling in sales of retail. And if I take a look at that right here, I can see the balance for a particular period. And if I move that into a quarter, I can see the balance for the quarter. And then we had created something that was kind of cool. It was like 4 quarters. And then I can see, I can see the balance for 4 quarters. And if I just move into a period where I have entries for all of the quarters, I get this nice layout right here. Okay, so what we want to do now is go back into the balance only view right here. And I want to just show the actual, which is the balance, the net change right here, and the budget on the side. So I see how well I'm doing according to budget. And the first thing we got to do is define a budget for this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a budget. So I'll just go out of here, go into, and out of here, go into budgets. And I'm going to create a new one. So it's called coffee mug. It's 2018 budget, coffee mug. I'm going to talk about dimensions in the next video, how to budget them. Right now I'm just going to budget the GL accounts to kind of keep it brief and on point. Then I go into edit budget. So what I get here is my chart of accounts showed us lines, and then I have periods out. So the way you budget, you kind of have to think about what period you want to budget. Most people will budget months. You can budget weeks if you like have a high turnaround, or quarters or years. I mean, it's all up to you. But the important part here is you have to put the budget on the appropriate GL account. Many companies budget the entire GL, and that is kind of the most proper way to do things. It's a lot of work, but you will then have a very good understanding of your finances. I'm not going to do that because that takes way too long for this video. So I'm only going to budget these 3 lines here. This here I created, and this has to do with dimensions, so I'm going to skip that for now. Just going to budget these 3 elements here. So I'm going to say that we have negative 100,000 in domestic, and negative 50,000 in EU, and negative 25,000 in export. So, and this is for the first quarter. Second quarter, I'm just going to throw that in there as well. We're going to do 120,000, negative 55. Budgets always go up, right? Negative 30,000. Well, in the budget it goes up, not in reality always. But anyways, so we've set up now a budget. I put negative, of course, because these are credit accounts, and NAV will preserve always the debits and credits. And so a good amount, or the correct amount for sales, would be negative here. All right, so this is my CM budget. I'll go out of here, close that, and I'm going to go back to account schedules. So I'll get in my role center here, analysis, account schedule. And I'm going to go into my coffee mug income statement. And I'll just hit overview here. So what I want to do now is create a new column layout, because I have balance, that was the balance only, but I want to create another one which shows balance and then budget, right? So that's new column layout. The rows are fine, I'm happy with the rows, and I'm actually just budgeting these 3 lines here. I could have budgeted, of course, everything, just to prove the point. So I go into my column layout here. I have a bunch of options. I'm going to create a new one and call it CM budget, coffee mug budget. And then I hit edit, column layout setup. So the first one, it's just going to be net change or balance. But it's basically just going to show the net change of the current period that I'm looking at. And the second one is going to be budget. Now, how do we do this differently? So here it automatically went to net change, and I just keep that. But if I take a look at here, I have ledger entry type, and it comes in as entries. But I have an option here to pick budget entries. So here entries are just the ledger entries for the GL. But in this case, if I pick budget entries, those are the budget entries for the GL. So we do have budget entries, and those are the entries I actually entered before. All right, so I created these 2. Just hit OK. OK again. And bada bing, bada boom. Now I have the net change, and I have the budget. So there is, as you probably noticed, these numbers are not quite the same as I put in. And I didn't put a budget in for this, for example. So why is that coming up? This is a very important note. Right now we're looking at all budgets in the system, and somebody might have budgeted this before. I only want to see the budget that I created, and there's something called the GL budget filter here. I need to select my filter, which is this one, or my budget. I wasn't going to click that like that. Okay, so now you can see that I have the 100,000, 50,000, and 25,000, and that is what I actually entered. And if I go into the next period, nothing has happened in the system yet, but I do have my budget there. So I hope that explained how budgets work with account schedules. In the next video, I'm going to go into how we budget dimensions, which is even more interesting. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. As always, we welcome any questions or suggestions, so leave comments, or of course, if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. We are trying to build our fan base over here at Enecta. And if you want to look for further information, please go to enecta.com.